This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Liquid IV. The 2024 Olympics are almost here, and with the Summer Games nearly in full swing, it's a reminder that hydration is important for athletes and fans, and Liquid IV offers extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being.
A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, making it the perfect companion for all your summertime activities, whether you're hitting the golf course, traveling, or if you're looking to recover after a long day.
So tear, pour, and live more and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Hey, welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On this episode, we're talking AEW Dynamite 250. Many people are calling Match of the Year 59 minutes and 58 seconds of Will Ospreay versus MJF. We're going to talk about everything that happened last night at 250. But first, it's a question everybody wants to know. Oh man, is it time for more CM Punk drama? No, not really. We just have an update on his return. Now, it seems clear that WWE...
No Punk Daily, huh?
No Punk Daily today. It's not drama. It's just an update. Anyways.
It's this tricep injury is being dramatic in terms of when it's going to heal.
It really
There's
is.
Your drama.
It really is Punk tricep drama. Anyways, it seems clear, of course, WWE... They want to do this Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk match, and they want to do it now, or at least at SummerSlam.
Why wouldn't they?
But how close is he really to an in-ring return? So Punk last commented on his health status during an appearance on All Those MMA Hours with Ariel Helwani yesterday. PW Insider reported that CM Punk was at the WWE Performance Center today in Florida. That would be yesterday because we're reading this today. Punk was in the ring working to get officially cleared by WWE Medical, we are told. And on last night's Wrestling Observer Radio, those other guys, Dave Meltzer, added, and this transcript comes to you via Inside the Ropes. The McIntyre thing is an angle. Punk is working on getting cleared. That might have even taken place today because he was in Orlando. He was not cleared as of Monday, but he was expected to be cleared. They were going with the idea he would be cleared. So Punk and McIntyre is likely the match. I can't say 100% because he isn't cleared, but it's likely the direction.
Obviously, it's the direction.
Whoa.
Not like
little whiplash there.
Oh, my goodness. So, during our Raw recap, we speculated as to why they made the decision for Drew McIntyre not to apologize to Jack Daddy Ref and Danilo the Ref, so that he got his Punk match, and then he attacks refs, going after Adam Pearce. Seth Rollins makes the save that, hey, in the event Phil isn't cleared in advance of SummerSlam,
that means put him in. That means put
Seth Rollins.
Plop him in.
Effectively, number 1 contender match to face CM Punk.
Yeah.
That's if Phil's not cleared. So it seems like, hey, we got our backup plan in place. Seth Rollins. In the event Punk isn't cleared. But of course, if he is, then you do Drew and Punk. Heck, maybe you do Drew, Punk, and Seth at SummerSlam. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts there. Maybe you do 2 of the 3, the other guest enforcer, guest referee. Maybe you have Drew versus Seth on an episode of Raw. Winner faces Punk. And then Seth wins that, and Drew McIntyre is even more out of his mind, upset, feeling like he's been screwed over for everything.
My guess has got to be it's just the most simple route. Number one, because I've heard the guest suggestion, enforcer, referee, what have you.
Yeah.
But like, dude, if you got a cleared Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, you use a cleared Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, not as a guest.
Right. No, not as guest enforcer.
Not as a guest. That's boring. That's dumb. So yeah, dude, I don't know. This seems pretty cut and dry. You go Drew, Seth, if Punk's not cleared. Maybe maybe if he's the amount of clear where it's like, yeah, you can do pretty much everything but be in match, then I guess you would use Punk as guest. But barring that, if you got Seth Rollins, look, Seth Rollins has as much right to this match as anybody. Granted, CM Punk has screwed over Drew McIntyre more times than I can count now, and Drew McIntyre has taken his pound of flesh here and there from CM Punk.
Well, once, exactly once.
But, Seth Rollins, he's there too. And you don't waste a guy like that. So, look, it's very simple. This is what's going on there. This is my sources saying this. And you know what my sources are? You know what my sources are? My goddamn brain cells are telling me this. Drew versus Seth, straight up, that is the backup.
Yeah.
But it's also a very likely backup. Punk, if he's cleared, he'll get in as a triple threat. That's it. I don't know what all this other stuff is, what people are talking about, what Dave Meltzer's talking about. This is as simple as it can get. The one thing that did surprise me about what those other guys said on Wrestling Observer Radio is that Dave thinks, I forget if this was he's speculating or if he has sources, that
we just pull a quote out. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is. That Braun Breaker, not Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn is going to be the one-on-one match, and it's not going to be a triple threat with Ilya. And I wonder if that's because there's the distinct possibility that they're already going to have 3 dudes in a match in a triple threat. They could always do 2, but maybe they'll think that's redundant. I don't know. I think you stick Ilya in that match, and it makes the match a million times better. But I understand if they want that moment, if maybe next week on Raw, Ilya will be like, Braun Breaker, we go again, one-on-one, and that's the number 1 contendership match. And Sami Zayn faces Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. Maybe that's the case.
Could be.
But the triple threat, dude, you have Seth. You use Seth in match.
Yeah, Seth should do something at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
The most obvious thing is guest enforcer for CM Punk.
How about host?
Versus
host of just that match. He does the ring announcing.
Well, if he's host of just that match, then he's going to get involved. You just don't have him there when he already wrestled the match. He's cleared.
Yeah.
Guest enforcer. He's involved then.
Come on, doing just roaming around outside? Nah, man, I want to see this guy do all sorts of cool stuff.
He could as guest enforcer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to move on then.
Well, let's move on. It's a company that used a guest enforcer recently, Jeff Jarrett. I'm talking about AEW.
True, they did use him as a guest, and
that was relatively effective, was it not?
No, he should have been in that match too.
It was a tournament match. He couldn't have been in it. It was the finals for the Owen Cup.
Larson, it's wrestling. You can do whatever you want to do.
You're right, whatever you want to do. Anyway, there was Dynamite last night. Dynamite 250.
Yeah, man, wow.
Historic. Dynamite 250. They're 1/4 of the way to 1,000 Dynamites.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to do this 3 more times.
Oh, my gosh.
Over and over again until we get to 1,000.
Would we be retired by then? 15 years from now?
Doubtful. I got enough retirement saved up. What are you talking about?
Oh, no.
Do this till I don't know, 80 years old.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, hey, dude, let's start, well, you already exercise. I got to start exercise. I ate some blueberries earlier as part of my lunch.
Rich in antioxidants. Good for you.
What'd you think of that match, that really, really long match?
It was really, really long. 59 minutes, 58 seconds. There was some really spectacular sequences in there.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it, I think including those other guys, saying it's the greatest Dynamite match ever. So I was trying to,
Dynamite's had some fucking good matches.
Some really good matches. So my brain, which doesn't work as well as it used to, because I'm old,
yeah,
trying to gain access to the memory banks.
Oh, good luck with that. Dusty.
Yeah, they're corrupted files at this point.
Super corrupted at this point, dude.
About some other stellar Dynamite matches. There was that great, I think it was the Iron Man match between Kenny and Pac. Mm-hmm. That one always sticks in my head because that match was phenomenal.
That was great. Danielson versus Hangman went an actual hour, not this shortchanging me by 2 seconds bullshit.
Come on now. Yeah, there's been a lot of stellar matches in the history of Dynamite. Was this the greatest of them all? Debatable.
Oh, yeah. No, look. At this point, I'll put it this way. At this point, the greatest 5 matches in Dynamite history. At that point, it's like, okay, they're all amazing. They're all stellar. They're all basically flawless. With, like, now you just pick one. You know, you pick whichever one you like best. That's your one. So I think it's probably in the conversation. But dude, when there has been, like, I'm sorry, you can't tell me that this is significantly better than Hangman Bryan to the degree that it's like, oh, this is the one. This is the one. Nah, man. These are all fucking like the Godfather of AEW Dynamite matches. You know what I mean? There's no Godfather 3 in the top 5.
That's what I was going to say, the first 2 Godfather movies.
Yeah.
Not the third one.
Yeah, make no mistake. We don't count that one. That's non-canon. It's like fanfic.
Yeah, virtually.
But yeah. No, it's up there. Oh my God, it's up
really
there.
good.
This was great.
It was really good.
It was amazing.
Great. You could tell maybe like, I don't know, like 25 minutes in, I'm like, they're going an hour, aren't they?
So, dude, this is my story of the match because I love whenever we've got something weird. Dude, after taking my dog to the vet and then doing the show with you, I was wiped, right? And so, because here's the thing, taking my dog to the vet is no easy task. I had to lift her. She's 80 pounds. I had to lift her from right where she is right there in that bed, through that door, down steps. There's only 3 of them, but still down steps. I'm old. My legs don't like to work. Like, once we play basketball, I'm good until the next. Like, my legs are toast.
Yeah.
And so I had to, because she does not like to go to the doctor, and she knows. She's smart. She knows. So I had to pick her up. I lift her out to the car, and we get there. She's an anxiety mess, but she gets a clean bill of health. Everything's great. So I'm feeling all right. But I'm just, by the time we're done with our show, I'm wiped. I'm like, man, I need the afternoon. And so at 5, I wake up from my nap, and I'm like, I wish there could be more nap here. Yeah.
Well, there's more nap?
No, I wish. But Dynamite was on. And I was like,
I thought you said there was more nap.
And as usual, Dynamite, I'm like, oh, let me just get this over with. So I turn it on my phone, and I'm sitting there on my bed watching, and I'm like, I'll just watch this for, like, it's probably going to go 25. And then, like, by the time 18 minutes rolls around, I'll be like, I'll watch the finish later. And so I go tell Bam, I'm like, I'm heading to Winco, get dinner, get in my car. On the way back, just real quick, like, I pull over, I load up Twitter, I'm like, oh, how was that match? Who won the match? And then, like, I went to Twitter, and on the latest tab, 6 seconds earlier, somebody said, why is this match still going? I'm like, whoa, they're going an hour. Yeah.
You knew they were going pretty much at Broadway at that point. Yeah. Around the 25-minute mark. Yeah, I was like, all right, if this goes past 25 minutes, there's a good chance this can go an hour. For some odd reason, at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, I didn't have anything going on, so I plopped down here thinking, we'll get a 25-minute match. There'll be a weird ending, and Ospreay will escape with the title. And then the further it goes, the more I'm thinking, oh, they can do an hour? An hour, no contest. You know, time limit draw.
Time limit draw. That's what I was thinking, too.
And so, at 5:45, I'm like, oh, this is definitely going an hour. We're getting a draw here, but I want to make sure I'm here. I've invested this much time. Mm-hmm. I know it's almost dinner time, but dinner can wait till this match is over.
Yeah, right.
You know? So I finish it, and, you know, at first with the expectation, oh, they're going an hour here. When there's a winner with 2 seconds left, the first thought that pops in your head is, because we've seen the trope so many times that someone hits a move as time expires, ref's hand for the 2 count hits right at the...
Oh, you think it was a botch?
Or, no, I don't.
In the moment, did you think it was a botch?
It popped in my head, you know, because, and I know Bryce Remsburg does this to enhance the drama. He does the 1, 2, 3... And with that, he always does a pause there, I think. With that pause, I was like, is this supposed to be it? But then I thought about it. No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Where MJF goes nearly an hour, has to resort to cheating to get the win, basically at the final seconds.
Well, Ospreay wouldn't hit the Tiger Driver.
Yeah, that preceded it, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
And so at that point, I was like, oh, damn. I didn't think this was going to go down the way it went. I figured it would be a draw, and that would sort of stick in the craw of Will Ospreay. But, yeah, he took that L. We have a new international title in MJF. I was surprised by the outcome. I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a good surprise. You put this on a big episode of television. We're 20 minutes past the hour. Do we have any idea? Just because it's interesting to know if, like...
Oh, yeah, ratings and such.
If there's, like, a gauge on the interest via the ratings. I'm not saying they're the end-all be-all because, goddamn, that was a hell of a match last night.
It was. And I guess the question now is, after Pac won that four-way match last week, become number one contender for international title, it was like, oh, we're going to get Pac and Ospreay at Wembley. Makes a ton of sense. Now, unless, of course, we have more than a month till All in Wembley. So things could change. Ospreay can get the belt back. Something. Who knows? But as of now, that means we're getting MJF versus Pac for the international title at Wembley. Still a great match. But where does that leave Will Ospreay? At one point, we thought, oh, he was going to main event this show.
Yeah.
Whether that him as champion, him facing Swerve again, or facing some really high-profile contender as international champion. Now he's got no title, no clear path for Wembley. You're making a face. What's this face about?
How do we get him in on that title match, the main event?
No.
How do you do that? Because, by the way, goddamn, that'd be a hell of a match. Because the more people you add, the better it is. No, the more like amazing people you add. I love triple threats, man. I think they're great. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility, right? He's got nothing, and Wembley is around the. Wembley is what, a month away? It's August.
It's the 25th of August.
25th. Okay, so it's about a month away. A little bit more.
About 5 weeks.
Yeah, 5 weeks. Yeah. That's a lot of time.
It is.
That's
it's time for him to get the international title back, even maybe.
You know what they should do? Bryan Danielson should be like, in a former life there was a WrestleMania where the main event wasn't good enough. So you know what they did? They inserted old Bryan Danielson to the mix. I got stacked, but the lesson was more but better. Will Ospreay, welcome to the match.
And now does Swerve stack them to win?
Well, I think Ospreay would stack them both. Swerve would be on the bottom. No, I'm joking. It's Tony Khan. No, I'm joking. No, I don't know. I think that's really silly. I think that's incredibly silly, but also it's Will Ospreay. He has reached rock bottom. I don't know what motivation there would be to get him into that match. So then we are left with the question, because I'm just bringing that up to sort of dismiss it. What would he do?
Well, let's look at what else we anticipate to be on the card. You could revisit Ospreay Okada. That's a great feud, and it was a great rivalry in New Japan. But it looks like Okada's going to be facing Hangman Page, most likely, at All In, based on the tease from last week, and even to close the show this week, where we get this stare down between Swerve and Hangman towards the close of the show. And who pulls Swerve out of the ring so Hangman can't go after him?
Okada does, yeah.
So maybe it's a little tease there. That's the match we're getting for All In for Page and Okada. So both of them off the table. Obviously, let's assume that Ospreay is not going to be put in the main event. Swerve Danielson can't face either of them.
Yeah.
No MJF. No Pac.
What's Jay White's status?
At least in storyline injured.
Oh,
I don't know if he's
okay,
actually injured, but the Bang Bang Gang got stripped of the six-man titles because they were trying to freebird him, but Chris Daniels said, Tony Khan said no.
There's nobody in, it's not going to be because he's had the thing with the Callis family, but there's nobody that they're not going to do Kyle Fletcher again.
No. You can't go off the TNT title because Jack Perry is probably going to face Darby at All In for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that. Yeah. Dude, it's the main event at Wembley. Tony Khan has done, and it's funny because I feel like I don't know whose idea this was. I'm really curious about what the creative situation, how big decisions are made, because if the rumors are to be believed, the reporting is to be believed, Ospreay was the guy who was like, hey, Swerve should beat me clean, straight up, because he's the world champion. And Ospreay has enough confidence in the fact that he is the golden boy and probably will be for a long time in AEW at this point. So, dude, I do not know. I don't know. I would really doubt that at this point, because I know they said that things went really well with Kenny and it doesn't look like he's going to have to retire. But I would really doubt that 5 weeks from now he'll be in ring ready shape.
It seems like he's a ways out. Yeah,
that's a big old iffy. I don't know, dude. Maybe he drops the international title to get him. There are 5 weeks. I mean, that's a lot of storytelling time to get him into that main event. They've done weirder shit. They did the CM Punk Moxley thing that was weird.
Yeah,
he gets squashed and then he gets a rah-rah speech and he gets back in it.
Yeah.
So maybe they add him to that main event. It is Wembley, and maybe the idea is
would be they're not going to do it, but would be a wild idea to do. I'm not saying it's good. It'd actually be terrible from a business perspective. It'd be
this
terrible.
Is what I like now. You're speaking my language.
Let's talk about it.
There's this guy over at the WrestleJuice comments that is obsessed with saying that my fantasy booking is basically just on par with Vince's.
I was the same person, but I saw a similar comment on one of our videos.
Oh,
so
he went over? So he came here and then he went over to WrestleJuice.
Yeah.
Wow, following me.
I guess so.
Cool.
So this is next level bad idea, but
great.
If they want to tell us a story where Ospreay really hits rock bottom, could be how they do it. What if this loss to MJF, not be able to hit that Tiger Driver?
He quits. He retires.
Keeps him off the Wembley card altogether.
Dude, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound like the world's biggest asshole.
I'm not afraid of that, Steve.
You keep him off of Wembley. Dude, I was going to land that joke. You keep him off of Wembley. Oh man, dude, you know what? From the standpoint of like, goddamn the cojones on that one, that would be kind of amazing. Dude, every single match you see him sitting backstage watching on the monitor.
No, he has to sit ringside and watch the whole show.
No, every time they cut to him backstage, next he's got like some fucking fish and chips. He's just eating them, with a couple tears coming down. He's drowning his sorrows in fish and chips and some pints, some Walker's Crisps, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Terrible idea. They wouldn't do it. But
no, they wouldn't. No, they definitely wouldn't do that. I am surprised that we're not getting. Man, so MJF is going to beat Pac and that's even worse than Ospreay beating Pac in England. Boy, that sucks. That sucks for Pac. What the hell?
How about this? MJF versus Pac. Will Ospreay special guest.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's horrible. I don't know. You're right though. Like everybody's got a date. Everybody's got a date to the dance. So I don't know what you do in that situation. Maybe Toni Storm's like, Will Ospreay, in my dying breath, I bequeath you my title shot against Mariah May. Then we get Ospreay versus Mariah May.
I mean, is there somebody out there, like a huge name that we're not thinking of that they could bring in for Ospreay to face?
Dude. Duh. Of course there is. They going to do Ricochet?
Oh, yeah, that could be. That could be it.
This is a big deal.
That'd be a massive deal.
So wait a second. You're telling me that in Ricochet's debut match,
he's going to wrestle in front of 45,000 people? Yeah, he'll take that L to Ospreay.
He'll take the L to Ospreay. Here's the thing: you wheel Ricochet out next week. Gets a couple of wins on Dynamite, a couple of wins on Collision. You beef up that record. We're talking big names like Seidel, Archer.
He's out with injury.
Fletcher. Fletcher, the returning Sammy Guevara.
Action
Andretti. You have him rack up some good wins against the top flight guys. And then him versus Ospreay. Killer match. Ospreay goes over.
Spectacular feat of wrestling ever seen, perhaps.
Yeah.
He gets by the power of it being a spectacular match. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
There you go. I'm gonna put that shit on the thumbnail. You know what? You know what? If the other guys can get away with baseless speculation on thumbnails, so can we. Anyways, Larson, before we move on with our Dynamite review, would you like to pay some bills?
Let's pay some bills. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp Steve.
Yes.
I've been saying it all week, so I know you've heard it. The saying, comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. You've heard that, yes?
I have heard it directly from you over the last couple of days.
There we go. So, for examples, you go scrolling through social media and, it's easy to maybe get a little envious when you see people posting about how they seemingly have it all and have it all together. But in reality, there's a good chance they probably don't. Therapy can help you focus on what you want rather than what other people have. And if you're looking to start therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
Therapy helped me get back on track when I was dealing with severe anxiety in my mid-20s, allowing me to learn the skills I needed to better cope with my anxiety and set me on the course to living a better life and hopefully becoming a better Larson. So stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And let's take a break here. Get word from our sponsor, Liquid IV. Said it before. Steve and I, we're huge basketball fans. We love the hoops.
Big time. Love him. Love hoops.
Hoops. And we're going to both be checking out Team USA basketball squad play in this year's Summer Olympics. It's right around the corner. You're going to watch, right?
Dude, I was watching last night at the gym the highlights of their routing of I don't know, some other jabroni team, 109 to 79, 107 to 79, something like that. Man,
that's a 30-point win or something.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, dude. No, anyways. While our basketball skills, though, may not be enough for us to make the USA basketball team in 2028, we can get gold medal hydration for our one-on-one hoops games with Liquid IV. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. And while Liquid IV is awesome for our one-on-one contests, it's also great for mental clarity and just overall well-being.
I'll do you one better, Steve. I'll say Liquid IV is essential for our semi-weekly 101 hoop games. I don't think we could play 2+ hours of basketball twice a week in this Northern California heat without drinking Liquid IV. In fact, we're doing our 2 101 games every week, yeah?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I'm starting to play hoops Tuesday nights, too. And Liquid IV helps me stay hydrated and helps me recover so I can get in as much basketball as possible this summer. Liquid IV is also the ideal companion for all your summertime activities, whether you're enjoying the outdoors, hitting the golf course, just chilling poolside, or like Steve and I, going out to the basketball court.
That's right. So tear, pour, and live more with America's #1 powdered hydration brand, and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com.
Before we get to the breakdown of the show, let's talk about this. This was hardly a surprise, but it has been made official. We got the full squad for Team AEW Blood and Guts team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
He's leading the squad. And then you got the Acclaimed. You got Mark Briscoe, first to declare.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then to close the show, although I'm disappointed they didn't throw to Robin Hood, but I guess it's not on. Darby Allin, repelled from the roof, the rafters of the arena to join the brawl that was closing the show. So that's your 5.
Yeah.
Your starting 5 for Team AEW taking on the Elite plus Hangman Adam Page.
Right, yeah.
And that match is next week.
Yeah, Blood and Guts is next week. Boy, oh boy. I saw a take that I hadn't considered on Twitter from one of the friendos, Abigail. She said something along the lines of Caster's going to turn on his team. Which they had been kind of teasing some discord in the Acclaimed a little while ago. And if they want some big moment to A, motivate a win for the Elite, and B, what?
I mean, but the Acclaimed have a tag title shot coming up.
Yeah, that would completely decimate that. And AEW's done weird shit like that in the past, where it's like, remember, what was it, dude? Wasn't it like when Jericho and Kenny, they had, I don't know what it was, but there was like weird shit going on.
Yeah, Jericho and Kenny had a
They took the
tag
#1 contendership away from like the Young Bucks or something like that.
They had a match, yeah, because the Young Bucks won it, and it was, I think, when they were supposed to face FTR. Instead, FTR dropped the belts to Starks and Big Bill.
Yeah.
And then Kenny and Jericho got the number one contendership from the Young Bucks. Kenny came down with a diverticulitis.
Yeah.
He had to step away. That's what happened.
Yeah. And all that is weirder than just one guy turning on his tag team and then them not doing it. That's my point.
Okay.
No, and you could still potentially do... There's still 2 guys left in the Acclaimed at that point. You could do Bowen's Gun. Caster keeps them from getting the tag titles or something like that. If they wanted to break up the Acclaimed, that would be a way to do it. I'm not advocating for it, but I saw that and I was like, oh, dude, yeah, they were kind of teasing something there with the Acclaimed. So that's a possibility. Because, I mean, you got, I don't know, otherwise, how do you think this match goes down? You got the Acclaimed with the tag title shot.
Well, we talked about it last week where we thought if somehow Okada either costs Hangman the win or leads to Hangman getting pinned by Swerve again.
Hangman wants the win. Hangman just wants to beat up Swerve so bad.
He doesn't care about the win. Yeah.
Okada costs Hangman that, which leads to, what was it?
Swerve pinning Hangman again. So it's not only that Hangman did not get to go after Swerve, it's that now Swerve pinned him again.
Yeah.
And he blames Okada for that.
Yeah. Because you would think, are they going to do, did they say that the Bucks versus Acclaimed, or was there an insinuation that was going to be the Wembley match? That would make a lot of sense.
I think that is kind of the subtext. I mean, the Acclaim directly spoke about it. It was a promo a couple weeks ago where it's saying we have, the match in our back pocket essentially, and we'll do it when we're ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got to expect, especially if Team AEW comes out the winning end of Blood and Guts, then the Acclaim could say, well, we got that win. Number one contenders for the tag titles. We won our match at Wembley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, at this juncture, I'd be pretty surprised if Team AEW doesn't win this match.
I mean, I know I said before, the Acclaim getting their momentum and then only to lose the tag match makes a ton of sense. You got Swerve on Team AEW. Him being on a loser team seems weird. Like, it's not a big deal if, especially, hey man, eating a pin and then justifying the match against Okada. That stuff all does kind of line up, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Darby, of course, Darby had the big return coming down. What did you think of the repelling of the...
I mean, it was a cool visual.
There's something kind of goofy about that one because, like, towards the finish of him coming down, it really, really slowed down, as it should, because it's safe. Yeah. You're trying to be safe.
And then you have Mark Briscoe going over there trying to, unhook him from the harness and stuff like that.
He looked like a little kid. Okay, so you kind of thought the same thing, huh?
But as a means of paying homage to Sting, made sense. And how many times did a brawl end on an episode of Nitro? Sting descends from the rafters to join in.
Crazy that Steve Borden never had a problem with heights. Because that would terrify the shit out of me.
Oh, I would never even consider doing that.
I would never have done that. That's absolutely terrifying.
No. Yeah. Sometimes I'm at the mall, I'm the second story, look over the guardrail, and I get vertigo.
I never look over the guardrail. The crazy one is when he brought DDP up with him.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
That was crazy.
If I'm DDP, I'd be like, nah, Jack.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
I'll do a diamond cutter off the top rope. That's as high up as I'm going.
Exactly.
Oh, man. What'd you think of Mariah May's promo?
The crowd didn't help her at all.
I saw her entrance, and I just sort of stopped, and I was like, I'll wait till whatever Tony has to say, Tony says. And I'm like, why does she sound so different? Because, goddamn,
I didn't notice until a commentary's like, wait, that's not Toni Storm.
Bro, she looks dead on exactly. It's funny because even when Mariah does the old Toni Storm thing, it's still like, God damn, she looks like. But then when you just see her, like, her face straight up, and you see Tony's face, their faces don't really look that similar. But when she's made up like that, for some reason she does. Is this going to bring out the old Toni Storm? And are we going to lose Timeless?
That would be interesting. I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope we don't. If there's a situation where they could do it this way.
Yeah.
Where Tony is playing old Toni Storm as a role, not readopting the gimmick permanently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Like she feels like the way she has to get the upper hand here is to be I love Motley Crue Toni Storm as opposed to timeless Toni Storm. But she's playing a role. And after she's finished playing that role, she goes back to timeless.
She could talk about how she's discovered this new method of acting.
Yeah.
Because I don't think method was a popular thing till like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it was like the 50s. Yeah.
So I thought the promo. I thought she did a decent job. I thought Tony Schiavone was a little bit weird.
That was a bit much. That was a lot much.
That was a bit much. He's trying to get into it, I guess. But, it is what it is. And then what else happened? We had the Wonk finish last night. You got to figure that we had a whole title change to kick off the episode. So the last, you can forgive them for doing the Wonk finish in the end there.
Oh, yeah. You going into this, you knew at least one match was going to have a wonky finish. And it's not shocking. It was Swerve and Okada. That being said, it felt like Swerve more or less had that match well in hand. I'd say it wasn't competitive, but...
Oh, in terms of like, hey, which of these guys are looking pretty good right now? Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like Swerve was the more dominant of the two competitors in the ring.
You have to appreciate...
Which he's the top champ, that makes sense.
I mean, it is kind of the thing where because of Will Ospreay, because of Okada, because they're shinier new toys... There's that aspect of us that's like, oh man, like they're just gonna like get that title off Swerve to put it on one of the other guys now. And so I think part of us is like, we're just thinking, okay, well, how are they going to book Swerve? And I'm so glad they came to the decision with Ospreay because Ospreay's the top guy. So now that trickles down. So everybody's got to look bad against, or not bad, but everybody's got to look like they can't quite hang with Swerve. Swerve even tweeted out yesterday, only took me 27 minutes to beat Ospreay. And I thought that was good. So you got to give them, you got to make them look like that so that when somebody does beat them, it's a big deal. And Yeah. I do think it seems like Ricochet would be more likely to happen than him being shoehorned into that triple threat. Because if it's not Ricochet at Wembley, I have no idea what they're going to do.
I hadn't thought of Ricochet until you mentioned him, and that makes all the sense in the world. It really does.
And I wonder if that decision last night, because Ospreay Pac makes a ton of sense as well, and I wonder if once they got Ospreay, maybe if they have gotten Ricochet. Because I think his contract, he's been available. His contract just expired.
Yeah, his contract expired, I think, beginning of this month.
Yeah, he just decided, he's not resigning. I wonder if maybe they finalize a deal with Ricochet, and then they decided, okay, well, a good way to further this story is, we get Ospreay versus Ricochet, and let's strip everything away from Ricochet. I think that's a great idea. I really do.
Given Ospreay's story now that I think about it, it wouldn't shock me if Ricochet beat him at Wembley.
Whoa.
It wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. It wouldn't shock me.
Wow. Given that, dude, here's the thing about Ospreay. You got to appreciate this guy is committed to telling that story.
Yep. The selflessness with which he's doing it.
Boy, that crowd, you want a Wembley crowd to riot. Have Ricochet beat that guy.
Yeah. We'll see.
Where would you put that on the match card? Because you're going to kill the crowd.
Well, right before a match that everybody wants to see.
Jericho Suzuki.
No. That's happening next week, Steve.
Oh, yeah. It's not happening at Wembley. What's happening?
You have it right before the main event because no one's going to leave before Swerve and Danielson.
Dude, I don't know. If Ospreay doesn't beat Ricochet, that could be like, this is buttocks.
You have it kick off the show.
Oh, you have Swerve Danielson kick off the show?
No. Ospreay Ricochet.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. And then what do you put after that, though? What follows it? Something that allows people to recover.
A good comedy match.
Oh yeah, good. What's Orange Cassidy doing?
Yeah, have Yano come over.
Yano versus Orange Cassidy in Wembley.
Yeah,
makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it doesn't. But I'd love to see.
I'd watch the shit out of that match.
I'd love to see it.
That'd be fantastic.
There you go. People have some lulls.
Yeah, man.
Laughs, not like a lull in the action. Laughs.
Right. Get some fish and chips, some points.
And they'll be like, all right, Ospreay lost. We got 10 hours more of wrestling ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. We'll forget about it by the main event.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The main event's going to be spectacular.
Too busy with my McVitie's digestives.
All right, let's get into it. I mean, this whole first hour of the show is pretty easy to talk about. It's one match, MJF versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I thought this was when I was like, oh man, this went an hour, so we're only going to have an hour and one match to talk about. Cool, right on. They do everything in this match. Just take an hour out of your fucking day and go watch it. I'm not going to look, dude. I love you and I appreciate you for taking all these fucking notes.
Well, here's the thing. The thing is, when I take notes now, I don't try to do the whole match.
You think you're doing the finish?
I just want to have like the
thick page, single space to finish.
I want the lead up to the finish and the finish.
Yeah.
That's all I really care about, and maybe a couple bullet points about the story.
Yeah.
That's all I look for in my notes now. Like, especially look at the NXT notes because they jam a lot in the show. There's a lot to talk about, and sometimes the matches aren't terribly long. So sometimes it's just one move finish because that's what we need.
Yeah.
So here I was like, all right, this is going to be a lead up to the finish. All right, this is probably going to be the lead up to the finish, and it just kept going and going and going. He had 2 commercial breaks, and it's like, all right, this is going an hour at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a bunch of stuff, worked up like several different body parts. It went up in the crowd. Some kid was beating up on MJF.
A little kid beat up on MJF, yeah.
And just about anything you imagined they're going to do in this match, they did.
And it was all crisp. It was all great. It was all good stuff.
There was a couple sequences, one towards the beginning and one pretty close to the finish that was just intricate and fast. And hats off to him for being able to pull that off, period. Much less being able to pull off such intricate sequences 50 plus minutes into a match when I'm sure they're both exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got my last thing here is the leap to the finish.
Have at it.
So Ospreay puts MJF on the top rope looking for a Super Rana. Before that, Ospreay looked for the Super Poison Rana. MJF landed on his feet. MJF goes for a Rana. Ospreay lands on his feet. Anyway, so MJF instead counters to a tombstone attempt, but Will escapes that, hits an Os cutter off the top, follows with a hidden blade. MJF kicks out. So Will sets up for another hidden blade. MJF ducks. Will picks up MJF, lifts him up off the ground. MJF spits in Will's face, so Will hits him with a headbutt. Calls for the Tiger Driver with about 1 minute left in the match. So Will hoists him up, but he can't bring himself to actually hit the move. So he puts MJF down, and MJF pushes Will into the ref. We get a ref bump. And so MJF gets the Dynamite Diamond ring out of his trunks, punches Ospreay with it, and the ref comes to, counts the pinfall with 2 seconds left. MJF as your new international champion. They have medical come in. They got the oxygen for MJF. They got the ice for both of them. And there's this great image in the ring where MJF has the belt around his waist. He's kind of holding it up there, and he's got the oxygen mask over his face, and he's celebrating his victory. There's another one backstage where he's slumped down in a chair all exhausted with the belt and giving double thumbs up. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I do think that, because we talked about how since he's turned bad over the past 2 weeks, we hope that he doesn't just sort of do the same old MJF shtick. I think this one, because it's not the world title, there's going to be less pressure on him to do a certain thing and to be important or whatever, tell a big story. I want to see a story, but more than anything, I just want to see some evolution of the MJF character. And I think him being international champion, he's got something sort of already set to go with Danny Garcia, who also wants the international title.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's some good stuff on the horizon for MJF as international champion, just like there's some good stuff on the horizon for sad Will Ospreay.
Yep. After that, we get an interview with the Acclaimed and Mark Briscoe. So Caster's pitching Briscoe on them joining Team AEW. Bowen says, we were so close to being tag champs again. We want in on Blood and Guts. And Mark says, you guys had my back when the Elite jumped me, and as far as I'm concerned, you're in, but I'm not the only one calling shots. So Swerve steps in. He says, I know I have a history with the Acclaimed. I faced the Briscoes. I know you're all tough people. And he says something along the lines of, you learn, what men are made of, what people are made of when you face them at battle, something along those lines. And so he says, all I got to say is, are you ready to get violent?
And they're like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mark Briscoe does this super hyped up.
Yeah, we'll do a deal.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had a TV time with Chris Jericho and his guest, Minoru Suzuki. So Jericho says, he's like, Little Rock, you need to take a few lessons from Learning Tree. This city is such a high crime, violent city. 1,033 crimes for every 100,000 people. You could do better than that. He says, I was on the first Dynamite, almost on every single one. I'll never miss another Dynamite again. He says, when you listen to the Learning Tree, good things happen. And when you don't, people are getting hurt, damn it. He points out everybody from Shibata, Hook, and Samoa Joe all getting hurt in their feud. He's like, it's all because they weren't listening to the Learning Tree. He says, I'll have to say that at this point, all you have to do is listen to Learning Tree. All of you realize that the teachings of Chris Jericho are so important. Who would be crazy enough not to listen to me? Who would be psychotic enough? Who would be maniacal enough? And then that brings out Minoru Suzuki, and he's got a little piece of paper, and he says, next week. And he holds up the piece of paper. Brian Keith takes it. It says that Bill and Keith are barred from ringside, and then Suzuki drops Jericho with a headbutt, tells the crowd goodbye, and leaves. So we get that next week.
Yep. Then we're backstage with the Elite. Nick says, we just saw what the Acclaimed had to say, what Swerve and Mark Briscoe had to say, but what really pisses them off more is that the Acclaimed think they're going to be two-time tag champs, not on our watch. So Matt says the Acclaimed need a reminder of who we are, and after next week, we'll have all the gold and all the power. But I think Nick brings up, hey, we won't have the world title. And Matt says, well, what we do to Swerve next week, after what we do to Swerve next week, the title might be vacant. You're dealing with the Young Bucks, the greatest tag team of all time, the Rainmaker, the Continental Champ, the unpredictable scapegoat Jack Perry making his return to the Elite, Hangman Adam Page. So Mercedes Moné steps up. And she says, thank you for banning Britt from the backstage area tonight. I appreciate it. And Matt says, there's going to be no drama, no issues with your match tonight. So Okada leans over and whispers something in Matt's ear. And Matt says to Mercedes, hey, can you do your CEO dance? So she does it, chanting CEO. She says, gotta go. She leaves. Camera pans over to Okada, and he's wiping sweat off his brow and fanning himself off. It's like, oh, it's so hot.
He's so good at the comedy stuff.
Oh, he is.
He's so good at the comedy stuff. Anyways, after that, we had Mercedes Moné versus Nyla Rose. Hell of a match here.
It's really good.
And we had, so Moné gets the tap-out win over Nyla Rose.
She tries to do the lockjaw.
Yeah, but yeah, I like this because she pulls out her own custom CEO glove, and she tries to go in there, and Nyla Rose bites. And so commentary says she's not a dentist. She's not an expert on the oral area. She doesn't know how to apply the pressure on the mandible?
Something nerve. The nerve
is
under your tongue or something like that. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the same nerve, the mandible claw.
Right. Yeah. And so anyways, she has to end up using the statement maker to tap
bank
out
statement. Yes,
the bank statement to tap out Nyla Rose. So anyways, Moné leaves the ring, rips a Britt Baker sign from a fan with a Sting mask on. The fan pie faces Moné, then takes her mask off. It's Britt Baker. Jumps the barricade, chases after Moné. Security rushes out to keep them apart. Thought it was a pretty effective segment right here.
It was. Then we got a Toni Storm, Mariah May video package. And then we got a Jack Perry promo. He says, Darby Allin, last week you wanted my attention. Well, now you got it. All you had to do was ask. Did you really have to go hurt Brandon Cutler? Maybe. What I mean to say is, do you think I give a shit about Brandon Cutler? So the camera pans out, and Cutler's there lying on the ground, writhing in pain because Jack Perry had just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then Perry picks him up, throws him through a door, which leads to like a boiler room or something like that. And then he throws him into the boiler container. And Perry says, come find me tonight, and I'll show you what a real sacrifice looks like. Yeah. So the metal thing, he throws him into the metal, not into the actual boiler, because that'd be awful.
It's not like a Jack Napier situation where it's some sort of Axis chemicals.
Not Axis chemical. No,
right, exactly. No. Yeah. Although Joker Cutler could be interesting. Definitely brand X.
Love that Cutler.
Trust. After that, we had a Mariah May promo, so she comes down there looking like a dead ringer for Toni Storm.
Yeah.
She gets a mic and kind of explains herself. Says, let's be honest, you all saw it coming. Everyone saw it coming except Toni Storm, a woman so desperate for the spotlight that she didn't realize she was giving it all away. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Well, she did a pretty good job of mimicking Toni's cadence and inflections.
She did, yeah. Very melodramatic. She says, the question should be, Mariah, what took you so long? Honestly, I didn't think it would last this long either, but it was so easy and I was having so much fun stringing her along. I just wanted to see how far it would go. But then I saw Wembley and I thought, why take the old horse out back when I can kill it in front of as many people possible? I've been Toni Storm and now I can be so much more. But don't worry, Toni, I still love you. In fact, Toni, I've never loved you more than when you were on your knees, bleeding, crying, screaming my name. That was your greatest performance, and my greatest performance will be at All In, because now AEW is all about Mariah. So there you go. Got to see if I got to go back and watch All About Eve and see if there's any sort of blow off fight there that they can then reference in this.
Well, I could tell you how the movie ends, Steve.
What is it, like a pile driver? Storm Zero?
No, there's no wrestling moves that I recall.
When's the last time you saw that movie?
I've actually never seen it. I've read what happens. I've read what happens.
Oh, look! I remember one time Lacey gave me so much shit because we were talking about that. This is ages ago. We were talking about that movie I Am Legend, the Will Smith one.
Yeah.
And there were some differences between that and the book that I was aware of. Yeah. And I was like, in the book, it was like, I forget what the difference was. But she was like, oh, did you read the book? I was like, no. And she was like, don't fucking talk about it then. I'm like, but I know it happened.
Yeah.
I know what it is. It's because I don't read. Oh, man. Anyways,
we got the Bang Bang Gang being stripped of the 6-man titles.
Yeah, what the shit is that all about? That's stupid.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
They're going to go up against Christian and Friends. Yeah,
Patriarchy that's on Collision this weekend, I think. And then we had our main event, Okada taking on Swerve. This is really fun. And then down towards the finish, Swerve catches a kick from Okada, hits a backbreaker, power slam, goes up top, misses a Swerve stomp. Okada hits a tombstone, calls for the Rainmaker, or looks for one. Swerve counters with the stomp. Young Bucks hit the ring to attack Swerve. The ref calls a DQ. So this brings out the Acclaim. They go after the Young Bucks. Jack Perry comes out, as does Mark Briscoe. Briscoe takes out the Young Bucks with a suicide dive to the floor, but then Jack Perry DDTs Briscoe. Swerve hits Jack Perry with a house call. Hangman's music hits. So he walks down to the ring, gets on the apron, has a stare down with Swerve, but Okada pulls Swerve out of the ring. They brawl in the crowd. Everyone else is brawling on the floor. Security comes out and tries to keep everybody separated. That's when Darby's music hits. And everybody's kind of looking around. Where's Darby? Where's Darby? He repels from the roof, from the rafters. And the brawl begins anew.
Mm-hmm.
And we go off the air with everybody fighting.
That is correct. Yes. Anyways, would you like to answer some... real quick. Tomorrow night is the deadline.
Yes. Oh, did you put yours in yet?
No, I forgot about it until today.
I got to do it tomorrow.
The huge G1 Predictions Challenge. Oh, boy. Deadline is tomorrow. What is it? 8 Pacific?
11 Eastern in the evening, yes.
Okay, there you go. That's the deadline. You can get in on the G1 Predictions Challenge and become the G1 Predictions Challenge winner 2024. Or, in Larson's case, retain.
Repeat.
But
whoever wins, whether it's me or someone else, hopefully they have better luck cashing in than I did this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So all you guys got to do is get the Friendo Club set up at patreon.com/Steven Larson or by clicking join right here at YouTube. It's $5 a month either way.
In hindsight, now that we're on the precipice of G1 again, like the last pay-per-view for Money in the Bank was been my last chance to try to cash in.
Yeah.
I wasn't within striking distance. So when I cashed in, I think was actually the best chance I had, period, over the course of the year to actually cash in successfully.
It was the luck of the draw. If anything, you want to blame the guy who's actually drawing the numbers.
You!
Oh, yeah. Hey, buddy.
Your fault.
Man, you know what? I did that as straight up as I possibly could.
Straight up to cheat me.
Oh, wow. I mean, I would never cheat Flannelly Dan, and he lost out too.
Yeah, at least he got a number.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The 1-0 in there, of course.
You needed a 3 to win, right? I think you needed a 3.
3 or 4, yeah.
And there's like a ton of 3s and 4s and one
There's
5
3
in there.
3s and 2 4s, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you had like a 67% chance, I think is what it was.
Oh, wow.
I think that's what it was. And instead you got the, 6%?
I got the 0. Yeah.
You got the 0. Yeah.
The 0.
Well, you know what, man? You gotta look onward and upwards.
Oh, I am. I'm looking to get that G1 title yet again.
There you go. And you know, you got a good chance this time because only, I don't know, you said 60 people had submitted their shit.
Yeah, there's not nearly as many people participating as in our WB or AEW predictions challenges. So odds have improved not just for myself, for anybody participating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Numbers don't lie and all that stuff.
Did you lock in your pick to win?
Did I lock in my pick to win? I'm locked in anything, but I think mentally I have. That's your question.
Oh, so you're still going with Zack Sabre Jr. to win?
Oh, I didn't say that. I might have changed it a couple times.
Since yesterday?
Yeah.
All right. David Finlay then.
There's new information.
Shota.
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to steal my answer.
I'm not going to steal your answer. I think I know who I have winning it.
Jake Lee.
To wait and find out.
You're like, who's that?
I know who Jake Lee is.
Dude, no, bro, when I saw
he's in the War Dogs.
Because I was looking at like a list of like odds or something like that, and it had everybody's name, and there's a Lee on there. I was like, who can't Trevor Lee? I'm like, what? Who is this person? Then I'm like, Jake Lee. That name sounds vaguely familiar.
He was in Pro Wrestling Noah.
I don't even know what that
Jump
is.
ship. Joined Bullet Club War Dogs.
He was in the Navy.
No.
Interesting.
He left Noah to go to New Japan. Steve.
Who's Noah?
Kel Miko here says, what's your guys' honest thoughts on NXT now that you're watching it again full time? What's your honest thoughts? It's an enjoyable show. They jam a lot into an episode. Here's the thing. My perspective on watching most wrestling is different from basically everybody else because I have to take notes during it. Yeah. So it changes the level at which I enjoy it. So, like, for example, Dynamite last night, I enjoyed a lot because it was an hour-long match. It's easier to take notes on matches than it is for promos.
Yeah.
But I appreciate they're focusing still predominantly on character in NXT, and they're coming around to a better system, I guess, of finding characters that fit their wrestlers. But they're not static. The characters aren't. They're evolving through time and becoming more of the person portraying the character as opposed to very much kind of like a gimmicky situation upon their debut.
So I've got sort of two minds on NXT.
All right.
And like you, we're 57 minutes deep into an AEW review, so hopefully I don't hurt too many feelings here. My enjoyment of a show is sometimes, like I know that no matter what, Raw and SmackDown, I will enjoy those or not based exclusively on their own merit, on how good or not it is.
The quality of the show, yeah.
Because those are foundational pieces of our business. We can get the numbers we need to get to continue to, be successful at what we do based off of SmackDown and Raw reviews most weeks. Like this week, for whatever reason, the SmackDown episode laid a turd, but whatever.
Well, it wasn't that exciting of a SmackDown episode.
You're right. But regardless, those we'll always review them. Much in the same way that your enjoyment of a program can sometimes hinge on what kind of note situation you're taking because of what you're doing during the show. My enjoyment will sometimes be related to whether or not I think it is helping our business. NXT is a luxury, not a necessity. Mm-hmm. Part of me thinks, man, we could be doing something else that would actually do real numbers if I didn't have to spend an hour and a half talking about it and 2 hours watching it. Trying to remove that from the equation, I like it fine. I do think that it's getting to the point where it will not seem weird for people to come to main roster and compete. And I'm not talking about guys like Ilya, because Ilya predates NXT 2.0. Not even necessarily talking about Braun Breaker, although Braun Breaker, like, I haven't really taken Braun serious until he got to main roster. How they're booking him now, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this dude can hang. So I'm enjoying it better. I do find entertainment value in the sillier aspects of it. The Charlie Dempsey, I was starting to come around to Tony D this week. You know, there are aspects and I'm like, oh, this is cool, but there's still a lot, in my estimation, for my enjoyment. There's still a lot of filler stuff that I'm like, yeah, this just isn't necessary, but they're building up these characters, so it is necessary to do the filler stuff. That being said, it's not as compelling to me as kind of the big three, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, because for me, it's like, okay, what matters? Like, what matters? What do we, like, those are the three that it's like, we have to review those.
Yeah.
Because that's part of our business, and that, you know, that's where the conversation is. So that's my honest assessment on NXT. It's a bit colored in the way that I watch it because of what we do, but I mean, it's fine. I enjoy it. It's good. It's not like the most compelling thing in the world.
No, but it's decently enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Joe the Meme Maker says, with Steve's recent purchase of the Planet's Championship, let me bring it into focus here. What other titles would you like to have seen made in the Planet's Championship style?
Oh, what a great question. What about the not the current IWGP heavyweight title, but the previous one?
The one that I got back there.
Such a cool looking title.
It is cool.
The NWA Western States Heritage Belt. Imagine that if it was made of like wood and leather.
I'm going to say the New Japan TV title.
Very good.
Like orange hemp, you know, dyed orange hemp.
And you get like the wood paneling they used to put on old TVs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That would actually hella work. Yeah.
That would work
really well, yeah.
Blake Whitehouse here asks, why do people call the weekly shows free TV when cable is more expensive than pay-per-views? Because for a lot of people, that's money they're already spending. It's not money on top of something else.
Why do they? Oh, yeah. It's like
the only free channels are the network channels if you have an antenna.
There's also the aspect of it's free because you can find it free streaming somewhere as long as you're paying for internet.
Yes.
Similar to the last question here about this championship, John says, with Steve as the real world's, so I got the real world's championship and the planet's champion, so I'm now the real world's planet's champion. What two titles would Larson choose to fuse and call himself? If there were two championships that you would then fuse, I got CM Punk's real world title, planet's title.
I mean, I got an Intercontinental Championship down there.
Okay.
And then, I don't know. Didn't some promotion have a Brass Knuckles Championship?
Did they?
I think so. I'll be the Intercontinental Brass Knuckle Champion.
Well, you got the big red title back there.
I do.
The big red brass knuckles. Is there something that's like funny?
NWA World Brass Knuckles Championship.
There you go.
Was around from 78 to 81.
Okay. 78. What about the weird WCW World International? That was the international
title, yeah.
That was weird. Let's see here. Davey Bod says, how do you think Roman will reunite the bloodline? Asking politely.
Yeah, he'll be kind, apologetic, contrite, and promise to do better.
He'll craft a poem and read
That's good.
In the middle of the ring.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It'll be called Acknowledge My Apology.
Martin Coven. Are there any vocational gimmicks you can think of that you would either like to see or that you think could genuinely work in wrestling?
The belt maker. He just makes himself championship titles.
Loses it, makes a whole nother one.
It's like this guy's the losingest champion in history.
But he's also the most prolific champion in history. I ain't got a better answer than that.
how is this guy held so many titles? He makes them.
Lux here says, much as I thought MJF versus Ospreay was a really good match, I just don't think weekly TV is a place for hour-long matches. Should AEW have shortened the match to 25 or 30 minutes, it'd still be great, maybe even better than the hour-long version.
Okay, so the only way that would have worked is if, number one,
if
I
there's
think
a 30-minute time limit for the match, then it would have worked. The whole point of the story is that MJF, that Ospreay, with so little time left in the match, at that point about a minute, was like, I'm going to hit this. Doesn't. MJF, as time expires, does what he needs to do to win. That was kind of like the major story beat. So I guess if you have a 15-minute time limit, sure, a 15-minute long match. 30 minutes, same thing. But I think to get maximum impact out of the finish, that finish has to happen with seconds remaining.
Yeah. David Matushik says, if AEW does not ink an extension with WWD, which TV station do you think should be viable to accept them? KCAL 9 in LA.
There you go.
Just them, local market.
Yeah.
KCRA3.
Syndicated from all the public access networks and around the nation.
Christopher Daniels goes from market to market selling the program.
Exactly.
That works, yeah.
And they have to pay the stations to air it.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all like parts of giant companies now.
I know, at this point.
You know, like, are there
like half the cable networks are WBD networks?
Yeah. What are the other ones? Like, I guess Comcast ain't gonna take them.
No,
they already got
at least Disney's channels.
Who they got? ESPN,
ABC, FX, I think.
Oh, FX. Okay.
Maybe others.
Does Fox have stuff?
They have Fox.
They got Fox. Put it on News Nation. Put it on Fox Nation. Just Fox News instead of coming up next, Gutfield. I fucking hate that guy.
Yep.
Stefan says, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I asked the last one.
Stefan says, what if the ending, no, you didn't. What if the ending of SummerSlam is Paul Heyman returns with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar as a team up? Oh my God. That would actually be hilarious and like pretty shocking.
It would be pretty shocking.
Be a two-man power trip. Who could beat them?
Brock's not coming back anytime soon, I don't think, though. Mr. Sinister says, my question is, why did they strip Bang Bang Gang, guns up, Steve? Strip Bang Bang Gang of their titles because Jay White is injured, but allowed MJF to wrestle alone or get Samoa Joe as his replacement when he was a tag champ. Don't try to make sense of it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, don't try to make sense. Don't do that. Come on. You know better. It's wrestling. Anything can happen. You can just write it. Jay Smooth, what wrestler's mask would you guys hide under to attack the other one? Like Britt did with Sting.
Trying to think of the most effective.
I would hide under a Sid mask.
That's good.
Because you'd be like, oh, man, look at this fat fan over here. I'm going to go get my picture with him. Hey, it's Sid. I love Sid. Whoop it. You wouldn't see it coming.
You remember that mask that Cody had at WrestleMania for his solo match?
Oh, wow.
I'd wear that one.
That's pretty terrible. I'd go over there
Steve
for the
loves
walls.
Cody.
I do love Cody, but I also would be like, hey, idiot, look at you with the stupid thing, and then we'll
take it off, and then I whoop out low blow. Tony Mercer says, I was at AEW last night, and even though there are only 3,000 plus fans, I felt we were very loud, especially for the opener. Got a report here from Dynamite. Some other news, there were several IT issues during ROH taping. Security were taking away signs and making us on the floor sit, and we were standing during MJF versus Ospreay. Great show nonetheless. Thank you for the
Why are they taking away goddamn signs? Like, it's a wrestling show. That's like part of the fun. They took away that Friendo sign that said join the Friendo Club.
Sense.
We need people joining the Friendo Club. Why are they taking a sign away? AEW.
Come on now.
AJ Otani says, what's the best and worst WWE speed match so far?
That implies that for me to answer that I had to watch any of the speed matches so far.
I think for me it would be, didn't Andrade beat Carl Anderson in like 30 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, it was super quick.
Whatever that, that one. It's
the
that
quickest.
The speediest.
How about,
Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
It should be whoever can win the match quicker. You know, that should be paramount. It's called speed after all.
No, dude, no, you're exactly right. The entire division is beat the clock.
Yeah.
So like if you and I were to do this on 2K, if I win in like 33 seconds, what's your face there? Did ratings in?
We got our Dynamite numbers in.
Ooh.
What's up? Take a guess.
702.
This is from Dave. 795.
Whoa!
That's a good number.
Wow, good for hopefully people stick around, man.
0.27.
Let's get that going.
People were hyped for MJF and Ospreay, I guess.
Heck yeah, they were starting to use the rotary phone. They're like, you gotta tune in here, change the channel to TBS.
There you go.
Word of mouth spread, and then 795. Exactly. Unless they run like a very special episode of Big Bang Theory. Was the Big Bang Theory reunion on beforehand? Is that why?
Oh, maybe they ran the finale.
Mm-hmm, yeah. What's his face? Parsons was on.
Alex Foster here says, if New Catch Republic and No Quarter Catch Crew joined forces, what would be the new name of the group? No Quarter Catch Republic, right?
New No Catch Republic Quarter Crew.
New Quarter Catch Republic
Crew. NCNQ.
Oh, you're going to give yourself such a headache just thinking about it.
Not a good idea. We're at the end of the day. Anyways, I got no more questions over here.
Oh, I got a few more. Andre Zimpel says, if you hate him, love him, or feel mad about him, can you consider Cena as one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT? He's not my personal Mount Rushmore. Goat. I wouldn't consider him GOAT status, but if someone wants to consider him in contention for GOAT status, I'm not going to argue with them.
I don't know. I'd put him up. I mean, I don't know. It depends on like what the GOAT criteria is.
But that's it. It's a subjective thing. Everybody has their own criteria. My criteria is going to be different than yours. Be different.
Who's your GOAT?
That's tough.
I've never heard of him. That's tough.
That's tough. Imagine that's a wrestler's name.
Yeah,
tough.
I'm tough. Who's your GOAT?
Tough. Well, can't argue with that. His name's Tough. He must be
18-time world champion because he's so tough.
Held the Brass Knuckles Championship for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now my GOAT is Andrade because I like efficiency.
Yeah, he won a match in 27 seconds. Or whatever it was.
It's I don't know. I think I beat Eric Bischoff in remember we did that one
we lower Bischoff's strength all the way down, and who can beat him quickest with the TKO? Yeah,
I think you exploded with Hogan out of the corner, and within I want to say it was like 3 seconds or something.
I think it was like 5 seconds. It was one hit.
It was one hit. Yeah, you just went, and if they would run faster, it would have been. I was like, God damn it.
We'd get up because we kept ungodly hours those days.
Yeah, we did.
Like I'd be up till 5 in the morning and sleep till the middle of the afternoon. I didn't have school, and so one of us would always get up earlier and try to beat that. I remember that.
Yeah. Even though there was no way to, we just go on the honor system. I think because there's no way to prove it. Yeah, or maybe the time stayed up there after you won, and so it's like, look what I did. I forget. Anyway,
hey, it might have. Black Sails here says, when Roman returns at SummerSlam, will Heyman be by his side? Yeah, I think so. I think Heyman's probably going to bring Roman back. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Weston Gibbon Music here says, who are the finalists for a WWE G1 style tournament? Give me finalists for men's and women's, Steve.
Andrade.
All right. This is all about fastest wins, right?
Yeah, speediest tournament.
All right, so Andrade and who on the men's bracket?
Oh, man. I don't know who the next fastest guy is. Probably Pete Dunne. I'd say Andrade and Pete Dunne.
All right, I'm going to go with Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
They're probably super fast.
They are super fast.
I've
seen them wrestle. They are super fast. All right, women's tournament.
Who's got the spinning back fist?
Lola Vice.
Lola Vice is on one side because I feel like that could finish people hella quick.
Instantly. Yeah. You get that at the bell, bang, done.
Yeah.
So Lola Vice and... Who else has kind of a out of nowhere finisher?
I mean, Asuka's got a killer back fist, but she does three in a row, and it's not a finish.
She's won matches with a Shining Wizard before.
Okay.
Kick.
All right. Yeah, sure. Oscar and Lola Vice. Why
Oscar
not?
and
great
Lola
name.
Vice. There we go.
Cool. We did it. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.